Broadcasting to you on WNN 1470 AM and TrentoVision.tv from the world's leading think tank laboratory, buried deep in an undisclosed building in hostile territory where evil and corruption is exposed. You're about to enter the Tom Trento Show.
Narrow border, all hands back in battle station.
Tom Trento heads United West, a group that says it defends Western civilization against the onslaught of Islam.
And we defend Western civilization against the onslaught of President Obama. You see, from day one, we recognize that, Manchurian candidate you hear sometimes. I don't think it's that exotic. Don't want to give him too much credit. But simply a doctrinaire Marxist. That means he doesn't carry a card that says, I'm a Marxist, I'm a communist. He doesn't carry a card that says that. But doctrinaire means he follows the doctrines of Marx, of Engels, of liberation theology, of hardcore leftist socialism. He believes, and he's got every right in the world to believe if he wants to, that the collective is a better approach than capitalism, where individuals strive to accomplish as much as they possibly can. He believes, our president, that if you entrust an individual to accomplish as much as he can, he's going to de facto abuse others. Therefore, if parity is reached, or if you run an egalitarian society where everybody is part of the whole, the collective, and everything is equal, then the world will be a better place. I guess he was absent during World War I, World War II, the atrocities committed in the name of collectivism. Collectivism. And when you compare the collective damage and destruction done worldwide by those who hold to the same ideology as this president does, you have to ask yourself, why? Why is he, as we said in yesterday's show, invincible? Why is he invincible when it's so obvious that his policies are in fact destroying the United States economy, destroying the United States military, and destroying the morality of Americans in this great country? But hang in there. You're in the right place right now. You're either listening to Tom Trento on TrentoVision, or you're watching us on the UnitedWest.org or several other places you can watch us. We thank you for doing that. Our job is to take all things Obama and to make sense out of a very chaotic, confused, and dangerous approach to life. Hi, everybody. Tom Trento. Here on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2013, couple of minutes, about 4 minutes past 5 o'clock, flying solo. Hi, CJ. CJ, where are you, CJ? Flying solo once again. And, at least Mark is here. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. Mark, J. Mark Campbell. Hi, Mark. How are you? I'm okay, Tom. I don't see you. Lost a lot of weight there, Mark. I'm losing weight. Oh, you caught me. No CJ, no J. Mark Campbell today. As I mentioned on yesterday's show, for those of you who have been following the show, we're now into our 500th or 600th show. Did this 500 times or whatever. And you know what? It's great every single time. And if you ever want to just have a blast, go to our archives. We have a little archives label, little lower third as we call it in the biz. Go to youtube.com/theunitedwest. That's our video archives. You can go back through date and show topics and pick anything from exposing John Brennan as an individual converted to Islam, head of the CIA, to whatever. We got so much stuff there for you. But please send out a note to all your friends to watch us 5 o'clock every day. If you can't watch us or listen at 5 o'clock every day, go to the archives. Tea Party community. You can watch and listen there. Go to barenakedislam.com, barenakedislam. BizPack Review, another partner website of ours that does great work. And Watchdog Wire, Dr. Rich Swire over at Watchdog Wire. Some of our affiliates dealing with us and good friends of ours. Yesterday, we touched a little bit on the invincible President Obama and his $1 million smile. There it is on the screen as he's propping up the absolute deleterious system called Obamacare. It should be Obama death is what it should be called.
Oh, it will be.
It will be. I mean, once you have the death panel saying, sorry, Granny, you may be 72 years old, but we ain't paying for pacemakers anymore. So either go get your own or, say hello to the big...
hip replacement. You hop, lady.
Spirit in the sky. And we identified an amazing metaphor yesterday that happened in real time. We're going to launch into some other interesting stuff today, but take a look at what occurred yesterday on the Rose Garden. This occurred Monday, the 21st of October, around 12:30 in the afternoon. President Obama, it's on your screen right now. For those of you driving from Miami to Orlando, we have a picture of President Obama standing in front of his podium at the Rose Garden, waxing eloquently about the tremendous vitality and life, the sustenance of Obamacare. When in fact, metaphorically, the little young girl who he staged right next to him as the perfect demographic, cute, mid-20s, total Obamacare person, starts to faint as he speaks. Her fainting is a apt description.
To free families from the pervasive fear that one illness,
like her fainting. Whoa! Whoa, Nelly.
A little woozy.
Whoa.
you're okay.
You're Obamacare.
You're okay.
When I talk too long.
You're okay.
It's when I talk too long. No, it's when you talk about stuff that doesn't make sense. They whisk her away. Word was they stuck her in the White House freezer to chill her down a little bit. I think she may still be there.
And she'll be going to the White House Correctional Facility soon thereafter for embarrassing the president during his speech.
Persona non grata, little cutie in the pink dress. I'd like to get her on the show and say, what happened? And, I was so overwhelmed by President Obama's aura.
Well, isn't it like
His
95
aura.
degrees in D.C. today?
No, his aura overcame me with the beauty of the program. That's how these people talk.
Well, that's how the women were with Bill Clinton.
Yeah, that's right.
They faint.
The Democrats. Well, the Republicans are getting just as bad. But right now, before we beat up on the Republicans, we'll do that maybe a little later, we want to bring to you what we introduced at the end of yesterday's show. We said there's an interesting article came down from the wires. We follow this stuff very carefully. And our good friend Daniel Greenfield had an article published. Many people wrote on this, but go to Greenfield's article. In Front Page Magazine, a very strong counter-jihad, pro-conservative blog, Daniel Greenfield wrote yesterday, and I'm going to read the first paragraph here. He said, Muslims in America are trained to spend a lot of time complaining about Islamophobia.
It's true.
Come back to me for a minute. Islamophobia. Muslims in America are trained to spend a lot of time on that. But the folks in Dearborn, Michigan, the Muslims in Dearborn, found out, folks, what Islamophobia is all about when a group of Shia Muslims, understand, Shia is 15% of the 1.3 billion Muslims, mostly from Iran and Lebanon. Those are two of the primary countries where the Shia come from. The Shia believe that once Muhammad died, that the next leader, the leaders of Islam, come through the bloodline of Muhammad. The Sunnis, on the other side of the theological equation, said, no. The next leader from Muhammad comes through the caliphs. Muhammad had 3 or 4 key wise leaders, and they were to pick the leader after he died. Thus, in the late 7th century, there was a significant split in Islam between the Shia Muslims and the Sunni. The Sunni are 85% of the 1.3 billion. And they hate each other to such a degree that when they're not busy killing Jews, Christians, infidels, Hindus, gays, or others, they kill each other. Well, the great killing field has opened in Syria, where President Bashar al-Assad, a Shia, is trying to keep his country from becoming Sunni-dominated by al-Qaeda and the Muslim Brotherhood. So the Sunni and the Shia are in a civil war in Syria. In the midst of the civil war, it's the Hajj. What's the Hajj again, kiddies?
It is a very big holiday. That is the one most associated with the Hajj to Mecca, where every Muslim must do at least one time in their life. They go, we walk around the moon rock 7 times and cast stones upon the false devil.
And you, by the way, for those of you maybe just tuning into the show, and we thank you for doing that. We're on every day, and you can see our hundreds of videos on our website, theunitedwest.org or youtube.com/theunitedwest. One of our people on our staff here, sort of on our staff, is Imam Abdullah Ful. Say hello, Abdullah, to the audience.
Hello, infidels. I'm assuming most of you are infidels if you listen to this Islamophobe.
And we're not going to tell you how we get him here every day. Let's just leave it off the discussion. But he is here every day, and he is our expert on all things Islamic. And he doesn't like to appear on camera, but there's his picture right there. What's your last name?
I fool you, you fool.
Oh, I fool you, fool. Okay. And you're from
Pakistan.
You're Shia, right?
No! Why? Tom, you do this. I know you did this
you're gonna
just
like
to
this
make
story.
me wrong.
You're
I
gonna
do.
like
I love
this
this story. This is what you get when a filthy Shia come to the land of Allah. Do not come to Mecca, you heretic piece of trash Shia.
But here's the irony, folks, what occurred just a day or two ago in Mecca, where a bunch of Sunni Muslims attacked a bunch of Shia Muslims because they hate each other theologically. They disagree. They hate each other with a passion. It's never going to end. It's like both Muslims hating Jews. It's in their DNA. It's in the DNA of Shia to hate Sunnis. It's in the DNA of Sunnis to hate Shia. Just a fact. If not, go try to figure out the Syrian civil war or what occurred in Mecca. As the group from Dearborn, Michigan, United States, was walking into the Hajj, the big mosque in Saudi Arabia, they got put upon by a bunch of Sunni Muslims who started beating them and stabbing them while the Saudi police stood by and laughed. These American Muslims from Dearborn even went to the American embassy for help, and the American embassy, dimmy embassy that they are, doing the bidding, as Daniel Greenfield says. When the Saudis tell the American embassy to jump, the American embassy staff says, "How high, King Saud, would you like us to jump?" They stood by and did nothing.
Actually,
Yes.
Obama bows for the
He
Saudis.
does. Obama bowed to King Saud early in 2009. We saw that.
It's the rest of the civil servants that have to jump. Obama just has to bow.
But here's the irony. You know, whatever comes or goes around comes around. 2 years ago, summer 2011, a group of Christian missionaries doing street evangelism went to the Arab Fest in Dearborn, Michigan, to preach the message of Jesus Christ. Now, they shouldn't have gone there. Guess what? This is America. If Muslims want to come and preach Muslim stuff anywhere they want to, they got a right to do that in the public square. If Christians want to do it, if Jews want to do it, this is what's made this country great. You go out and sell your own stuff, do whatever, and it's a battle of ideas in the marketplace of ideas. That doesn't work in the Muslim community, as Mecca told us, but also as this following video told us. In 2011 summer, a group of 9 Christians went to the Arab Fest and started preaching about Jesus. And look what happened to them by the same exact Muslims, and I guarantee some that were there 2 years ago.
Guaranteed. The same ones in the video were some of the ones complaining about what happened to them in Hajj last week.
What they did to the Christians in Dearborn in 2011, stoned them, beat the hell out of them, It's exactly what happened to them by their own Muslim brothers 2 days ago. Take a look at this video. 2 years ago, Christians being stoned by Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan, America.
Dearborn welcomes President Obama.
Oh, 2012 this was, just a year ago.
It is good to be in Dearborn. It is good
Oh, no,
to be
this is
back
when
in
the president was there. Yeah, that's good. Let it go.
I see a lot of folks here who worked tirelessly on my 2008
This
campaign.
actually ties in better than we thought.
Yeah. I forgot this little part we put in the beginning.
You did not do it because you thought this was going to be a cakewalk. When you decide to support a candidate named Barack Hussein Obama,
Which you couldn't say leading up to the 08 election, could you?
Yeah,
You were
that's
a
right,
racist
exactly.
if you mentioned his middle name.
Now Dearborn welcomes Christians at the Muslim Arab Festival 2 months later, summer of 2012.
There's been several cops that have already gone by. I think their philosophy this year is just let us be
A little louder.
I think they're going to turn a blind eye to us completely, for good and for bad.
Here, John, if you're watching on your screen, Abdullah, you explain it.
What we have here is a big Muslim crowd throwing stones and garbage.
That's an ordinance, okay? That you guys can't use the megaphone.
Christians. No, a
What's the cop
policeman
doing?
So if you
says
guys continue to
you
use
can't
that,
use this. You can't do that. You will get citation.
We used it last year. If they allowed it last, I mean, unless the law just came into effect this year,
A little louder.
why didn't they give us a citation last year?
I don't know. I wasn't a part of it last year, okay?
The cops are telling the Christians to basically get out of here.
I just have orders if they don't use a megaphone to just advise them they're not allowed to use it. To give them a warning. If they continue to give a citation for ordinance, and he'll be asked to leave for using a
So if we
bullhorn.
don't use a megaphone, can we throw
But
water
it's okay to be a rock target.
So what are you going to do if they throw water
So we have the
bottles at us?
Christian leader.
So what are you going to do if they throw bottles?
We got it on video.
Okay, well, you know that if you got it on video, then you can take it to the proper channels and try to find it.
I think you don't really want to pursue the law unless it's going to happen to us.
No, that's not true.
Let's jump them.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Who's saying let's jump them?
The Arab kids are saying to the other Arabs, come on, let's jump them. About the Christians, right in front of cops, no less.
So,
Go home. Bottles, eggs, and cans being thrown.
so these are Shia Muslims.
These are Muslims. I'm assuming the majority Shia
Oh,
because that is
this is
popular.
they're all from Lebanon. This is Dearborn is all Shia Muslims. Eggs, broken bottles on the ground. This video that we made has been seen by over. And right now it's just mass chaos as bottles and rocks and stones.
Oh, big pieces of stuff flying. Whoa! Whoa! It looks like you're tearing the carnival apart just to throw it at these guys.
No, it's pretty crazy.
Oh, I saw a shoe.
For all of you folks on the radio right now, we're watching a video that we put together a year ago of 9 Christians being chased by about 100 Muslims at the Arab Fest in Dearborn, Michigan. And Muslims, Shia Muslims, throwing rocks, bottles, stones at the Christians while the police stand by.
And if you'll see, one of the main guys here is easily 260-pound, looks like Wolfman Jack, pretty bad guy. And if I remember, he ends up getting bloodied pretty good.
Gets hit in the head with a rock. Little Muslim girls in hijabs screaming,
Man,
yelling,
they nailed me
cursing at
with a
them.
piece of concrete, something right in the back of the head.
All right, it goes on for 20 minutes. I mean, we made this video and put it out and went worldwide. It resulted in a lawsuit, an ongoing lawsuit right now. These 9 Christian guys filed a lawsuit, and David Yolshami is the attorney for them, filed it against the city of Dearborn, I think the county of Wayne County. But the point we're making is last summer, 2012, a group of Shia Muslims, all of Dearborn are Shia Muslims from Lebanon, attacked Christians throwing stones at them. And these are the Islamophobes. The Islamophobes were the ones getting beat up. 2 days ago, the Shia Muslims going to Mecca to achieve one of the 5 pillars of Islam, to be there with brotherly love of all Muslims united on the holiest of holiest of holiest of times and of places. Gets the hell beat out of them, stabbed and beat up by Sunni Muslims who said, we're going to have Karbala all over again, referring back to Muslims who killed their prophet Hussein for 1,200 years ago. So the question is, can there be any stability within Islam and
no.
in any protracted sense? No.
Here's just a couple of quotes from the article, and then we'll get our guest on the line. The Americans fled the tent area, which the Saudi government had specifically designated for American and European pilgrims. During the escape, many of the group, almost entirely U.S. citizens and mostly hailing from Dearborn, Michigan, suffered bruises, in one case due to an attempted strangulation, concussions, broken bones, and black eyes. During the attack, the men reportedly shouted, quote, "Our holy pilgrimage will be complete once we have killed you, ripped out your hearts, and eaten them, and then raped your women." Now, victims of the attack reported that nearby police refused to take action, and in some cases were openly laughing at the attack. Does this sound familiar? The Americans approached the officers, including one described as a lieutenant with stars on his shoulder pads. They reported the attack, showed the police the video footage, and the attack taken on cell phones. The lieutenant confiscated the phones and immediately deleted the videos in front of onlookers.
Unbelievable.
I mean, you talk about the shoe being on the other foot.
Well, the main irony here is the shoe on the other foot of those who were perpetrating, and if these weren't the exact people,
they were their cousins.
They're representative, of course. And we were in a lawsuit against two of them, filed charges when two of them attacked Alan Kornman, one of our guys. So we've been through the whole process in Dearborn. If they weren't their representative, but ironically, where love and the religion of peace should be exemplified at the Hajj during the pilgrimage, the battle continues. The battle that's in Syria continues, and it's coming here to the United States. Well, maybe we can get some insight from our next guest, who I think may be on the line.
I believe I have her on the line. Oh. Saba, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I can hear her. Hi, Saba. Tom Trento here. Saba Ahmed, let's put her up on the screen, if we can do that. And at 23 minutes after 5 o'clock, on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2013, you're with Tom Trento on TrentoVision. CJ's not with us today. J. Mark Campbell's not with us, but the rest of the guys are here. And our special guest right now is Saba Ahmed. Hi, Saba. How are you?
Hello.
You have something on your head. Are you a Muslim by any chance?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. You have a hajj. Is it hajib or hijab?
Hijab.
Hijab.
And it's just a headscarf.
Headscarf. Yes, yes. We see it all over. And we have known about you for a while. You're a fascinating individual, and I wanted to have you on the show to. And I mean, this could be the first of many times. You never know. But we wanted to have you on the show to just get some insight into your thinking. And, there some folks have said, oh, leave her alone. We've dealt with her and all of this. But, I run my show, and I wanted to have you on. A little bit about your background. You work for a law firm in Washington. I won't mention the law firm. You could if you want to. So you have a law degree, but you also did some other degrees. What's your educational background?
Well, I have an engineering background and finished my JD MBA in the last couple of years, and I'm doing my LLM right now in Washington, D.C.
LLM. What is that? LLM. What does that stand for?
Well, it's a specialization in law that I'm doing in law and government here at American University, Washington College of Law. And it's a specialization in law that hopefully helps me become a great lobbyist.
Oh, yeah. So you want to be, are you now a registered lobbyist, or you intend to be?
Yeah, in the future. I am a member of the American League of Lobbyists, but I'm learning how to become a successful lobbyist right now, and hopefully in the future we'll see where that takes me. But right now I'm focused on my intellectual property law career, and that's something that I do on the side as a hobby.
Okay, if you could just move to your right a little bit, because your camera, yeah, we're seeing half of your face. Yeah, that's good right there.
Sorry,
maybe we can fix it.
We could fix it. You can stay still.
You can stay wherever you want.
We'll stay on top
move
of
you
it.
Around. Let me ask you a very serious question, okay?
Sure.
Do you like my pink compact?
You carry that? Don't tell me.
You're laughing at me?
No, I'm
It's
not.
okay.
I'm just,
We laugh at him about it anyway.
It's a very girlish thing.
Are you a compactophobe?
No, I think it's cute.
Yes, it goes with my phone, pink phone. You have anything against that, pink?
No, I have I don't have my pink phone with me, but I have my black flowery.
That's fancy. Did you
is
see that?
fancy, yeah.
That looked like one we saw the other night with the peacock on it.
That's right.
No, I don't have peacocks, but it's flowers. You can see they're really cute, and they have glittery stuff on mine.
You are drawing so much attention to yourself. How could you feel comfortable with what the Reliance of the Traveler says about drawing attention to your own beauty?
I know. Actually, yesterday I pulled up one of the books because I got an email from you, so I was like, maybe I should prepare myself.
That's right.
To be...
You know. No, we know about you. You're really from the West Coast.
Yes.
And I think you ran for the United States Congress out there as a Democrat. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Tell us that story a little bit.
Well, I ran for Congress in 2011, mainly to just, see what it's like, and, really got shot down and didn't realize what I was about to get myself into. But it was fun. All these anti-Muslim folks came after me, and within a day of my filing, I had all these anti-Muslim articles all over internet. I hated Googling myself, and it was very fascinating, and I got a lot of backlash from our own Muslim community. It was very interesting. And
Tom gets a lot of backlash from your Muslim community also.
Well, I'm a girl, so, like you know.
What are you doing? All right, wait, let's go to we have an imam on staff here. Do you know that?
Really? That's
he's
cool. No, I didn't.
He's a Sunni. Are you Sunni?
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think, Imam Abdullah, about a woman running for office?
To me, it has become the more modern thing to do in some societies, but to me it is not proper. That is more meant for the job.
Does it
job
violate the Sharia?
In a sense, yes. And if you are a true strict Wahhabist, yes. If you want to westernize, so to speak, this is what is happening now.
I think Saba is so Western.
She look very Western.
She's coming back to the East. She's so
she
Western.
She look very, very Western, this Saba.
Yes.
At least she is from the right sect.
Okay. So you won't hurt her, right?
I will not hurt anyone.
Okay, that's good. That's good. All right.
It is the ones in Saudi Arabia that they must be careful.
Saba, you said something very interesting. And our purpose for the next few moments with us on the show is just to give some folks a little bit of insight into a Western Muslim. I'm using that term. You haven't used that term. But you ran for the U.S. Congress. I've run and participated in races at a congressional level. I know how intense they are. How much money did you raise, and it's all public record, how much money did you raise for your race?
I didn't set up a campaign. I spent it all, whatever I wanted to, out of my personal funds because of my, I knew the chances of winning weren't there, but I wanted to it was more a strategic move. So it was a special election in 2011. And so, but in Oregon, it takes about $3 to $4 million to win a race. And I knew I wasn't there at that moment of my life, but hopefully in the future, you never know. So.
Okay, we just put up a picture of you with, who's she with there? I saw a picture.
Oh, I've got several. I've got, is that with Musharraf?
Yeah,
yes.
Musharraf, yeah. Where'd you meet President Musharraf?
He was in Portland, Oregon, and our family friends hosted him, so he was there and talking about Pakistan. This is, I think, a couple of years ago. I
liked him. I thought he was a good, strong man in a tough country in terms of his politics. But let's get back to
I have a question about this political career of yours. If I am correct, you run as Democrat in 2011 and now you are Republican. Is this true?
Yes.
What?
Well, actually, I became Republican the day after I lost my congressional campaign.
Please explain to me. Explain to me this transformation.
How does that work?
I actually, throughout my campaign, everybody kept on asking me about my Democratic positions, and I kept on becoming, the more I filled out the questionnaires, the more I realized I couldn't align with anything in the Democratic Party platform. And so I ended up running as a Democrat, but I was, pro-life, pro-business, pro-trade, pro-guns, pro all of that, and it just kind of, Democrats weren't very happy, and then the Republicans weren't happy, so I was like, let me just figure this out on my own. And so at least, I felt like at least I could defend my religious values from an Islamic perspective in the conservative side of things more so than the
You are a stealth Tea Party Christian. It's very clear. Man, everything you believe is Tea Party
Tea Party
Christian
ones
stuff.
were like one of my first supporters. And initially we had lots of differences, but like I have made some very good friends in the Tea Party, and I realized how much we have a lot more in common than we think. It's just a matter of talking to each other.
Well, we'll talk here, but I always like to find out what we don't have in common, because all the common stuff is a bunch of nonsense. So we got stuff in common.
I think it's very important.
I like to find out what we don't have in common, but we'll get to that.
I have one more question before, please.
Yes.
Can you please explain to me, if you go back maybe a decade or more, the Muslim community is split between the Democrat and the Republican. In the last two elections, it is like 90% for the Democratic in the national elections, and I want to know why you think so.
Because the Republicans haven't been very nice to the Muslim community since 9/11, so, people don't want to give money or votes to them. But I really do feel that, Islamically, we have a lot more to align with the Republican Party platform than we do with the Democrats. We cannot support religiously, as an imam, as you know, we can't be very pro-abortion, pro-gay lesbian rights,
so ideologically, you're more conservative, like the Republicans. You're almost like vote like an evangelical. If you are not,
we are conservative,
but they are
Muslims.
such meanies. They are such meanies. We cannot vote for them.
Okay. Well, Imam, I appreciate your insights. You know how women can't really talk to imams these days. So, but
on our show, anything goes, baby. Anything goes on our show.
All right. Well, let's take it one step at a time.
Okay, one step at a time. You said something very interestingly. First of all, you have an outstanding academic background. I've looked at your vita here. You work for a very prestigious law firm. And your goal is to do Islamic lobbying. What does that mean?
Well, I'm learning about it. This afternoon I was at a lobbyist lunch with all the defense industry lobbyists at the Capitol Hill Club here in Washington, D.C. It's very fascinating. Lobbyists are the people who kind of, let's just say, run the books here. So I just feel like there have been so many wars since 9/11 and so many people have been affected, and I feel like we have to get involved in the political process. And lobbying is one mechanism of making our voices heard.
Great. There is a bit of legislation floating out there that many people can use your help on, conservatives. It's called American Laws for American Courts. It's to make sure that no foreign law is ever used on a state level in any court. Could you help out with ALAC, with some of the states that need help on that?
Well, actually, Tom, I think we talked about this on the internet, and I think maybe in our previous conversations, where I think constitutionally, we have so many international foreign laws that we're obligated to under the treaties that the United States Senate has signed us into. I think if you look at it from a constitutional perspective, you can't ban foreign laws. We are parties to many foreign laws, and on a federal level, if that is the case, then federal law trumps state laws. And so the ALAC legislation that I've looked at in Florida and a few other states, obviously it doesn't quite meet the constitutional requirements. I know the intent behind it is more so to ban like Sharia compliant laws and whatnot, but I don't think that this is the right mechanism because it's too overbroad and it covers all foreign laws, which are not, from a legal perspective, the legal arguments behind it are not strong.
Okay, but you are aware of the fact that the Florida version carves out all foreign law. It makes very clear and distinct exceptions for foreign law to be utilized in specific cases, but not in domestic cases, where it really comes down to. But we can discuss this in today's show is just kind of getting to know you. We can get into the meat and potatoes stuff because you brought the word the Sharia up, and
well, I know where you were heading, still.
No, well, I mean, again, I mean these are very significant and serious issues, and if you're willing to have conversations about it and be persuaded, I debated an atheist a couple of months ago. And I opened by telling the atheist the debate topic was, does God exist? And I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ. I'm a born-again Christian, all of that for many years. But I said at the outset, I said, if new evidence is presented to me to convince me that Jesus isn't the Messiah and all this stuff, I'm persuaded by the evidence. And I challenged my atheist opponent to do the same. I said, if new evidence is presented, will you leave atheism and at least move to agnosticism? And it's a trick question because if he said yes, then he's not really an atheist, because an atheist has to say definitively, I know there is no God and there's no chance of a God. Agnosticism holds that position. And he waffled, and he's a smart guy, he's a lawyer from California. He waffled and disassembled through the whole thing. So similarly with you, as we get into these issues, are you someone who is entrenched in your position, let's say on ALAC, American Law for American Courts, or if new evidence can be presented to you that indeed it carves out those areas of concern, you were very concerned about foreign law in other countries, that you would be persuaded that this is good, that we shouldn't use Pakistani law or Italian law or German law or anything like that. Would you be persuaded by the evidence, or are you entrenched in your position that there's no possibility?
No, I'd love to be. I would love to hear the counter arguments. I have seen, from what I've read and from what I've watched, I definitely have serious concerns.
You're going to be in trouble in your little Muslim community. Let me tell you, we're pretty persuasive here with what we do. But let's go back to when you ran you were in Oregon, correct?
Yes.
You said a lot of anti-Muslim stuff started coming out. Everybody thinks that we hate Muslims, that I personally hate Muslims. The concept is so bizarre, it isn't funny, but that's the world we live in. And I constantly say I don't hate Muslims. I disagree with the ideology.
You are at war with the ideology. You love the individual, and you say that at least 5 times a week.
Now, what do you tell me? What you mean by anti-Muslim? What are you doing? Getting coached back there? You keep going back to your...
No, I was checking I remember writing a brief on that ALAC thing, so I thought I would pull up my legal argument.
Oh, no, we're not going to go through that now.
But we'll do that later.
I'm not going to ambush you. I'd give you a chance to go through it very carefully, and we'd have a serious conversation about it. But I'm concerned on a personal level. What did they write? And I'll tell you the nature of my question. Did they write stuff where they disagreed with Islam as a political system, or did they say nasty stuff about you as a person?
They didn't know me personally. I talked to several of the writers afterwards, and they told me that it was in general because they saw a Muslim woman running for Congress, and that sort of scared them somehow. And so I don't think it was personal because they didn't know me. And even I talked to several of them afterwards, after the election, and they were like, well, we never knew you, and we didn't know what to expect. But let's Google my name, and I'll read you a couple of headlines that they published about me. Let's see.
These are non-Muslims, like bloggers or something, or
yeah, different. Okay. So it's like, Republican Saba Ahmed infiltrates Occupy Portland. Will the real Saba Ahmed please stand up? The grunge factor. Saba Ahmed radical Muslim for Congress. Saba Ahmed, hijab-wearing Saba Ahmed is running for Congress in Oregon. Um,
I've heard Tom called a lot worse than that.
yeah. Oh, I cleaned up Google quite a bit, but hopefully, there's just different stuff. But I think it was I think just people not ignorant, I didn't know the whole campaign strategy about, I didn't expect the Islamic, anti-Islamic stuff that people were thinking. And it was not from people in Oregon, because in Oregon, I know a lot of people, and people know me pretty well. So when I ran in the Democratic Party, a lot of people already knew me. I was on the President's Council for the Democratic Party, and everybody
the President Obama.
It wasn't at Oregon. It was outside people who just didn't know me, I think, and it was just. So.
Let's cut our video, because your audio's starting to skip a little. We're going to cut.
Yeah, you leave yours, Saba. You leave yours. What's going to happen is you're not going to see Tom anymore, but we're still here. Okay. So just look at your camera.
I'm gonna miss that.
You can watch it later.
But it's starting to skip in the
But
resources.
but don't touch anything on yours. I'm just gonna kill our video feed to you.
Okay.
We're still here.
Okay.
Now, real quick.
Yeah.
I have a picture of her with the U.S. ambassador to Egypt. If you'd pop that up real quick, Mike, on that one. How did you meet the U.S. ambassador to Egypt?
It was when she got, I think, right after her confirmation. She was here in Washington, D.C. at one of, I think, the lunch events that I went to. And we talked briefly, and at that time, because she was the previous ambassador to Pakistan, and it was very fascinating just listening to her talk about what happened in Pakistan with the military coup and stuff, and then how now she was heading to Egypt. And it's been interesting watching what has been going on in Egypt.
She's very much hated by the Egyptian people. Do you know why that is?
I think there's a lot of anti-American sentiments over there. Just so, there was, in Pakistan as well. I know that when Musharraf was running the show from the military side, she was the ambassador at that time in Pakistan as well. So there was a lot of animosity, Pakistani people against her at that time as well. And it was very interesting how, she went to Egypt, and that's where everything happened. So I can imagine
stuff follows her around.
Yeah. Hey, let's establish for our viewers and our listeners that 43 minutes after 5 o'clock, October 22nd, Tom Trento here, TrentoVision. We're broadcasting on the radio, WNN 1470 from Miami to Orlando. For those of you not familiar with the geography, that's about 250 miles long, about 30 or 40 miles wide. We cover about 5 million people, and everybody is listening to Saba Ahmed right now.
5 million people?
Yes, they're all listening. That's as many as were at the Hajj over the past couple of days.
Inshallah.
We're also broadcasting on internet television, TrentoVision.tv, theunitedwest.org, and today we have a special guest and a young woman we've been talked to occasionally through the years, either on the show or Facebook or wherever. But her name is Saba, S-A-B-A, Ahmed. Is it Ahmed or Ahmed, hard K? How do you pronounce it? Nope, she froze
Ahmed.
up. Ahmed with a hard K? We just froze up for a second.
No, we don't use K.
Ahmed.
It's just Ahmed.
And she's an attorney with a prestigious law firm in Washington, D.C., very prestigious firm I'm familiar with. And
why have they sued you?
Yeah, they've sued. Get in line.
No, we sued one of your friends, actually.
I think they may have been the defendant in a case where I was the plaintiff, maybe
No, it wasn't
somewhere.
you, Tom. It was one of your friends.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, I had friends that were with them in Florida. But
I think we settled that one, though.
okay. And Saba is, a Muslim, and my goal for this segment is to, let you have your say about your belief system. I disagree with it. I disagree with it on 100 different levels. And to prove, and I don't have to prove this to me, but maybe to prove to some naysayers that people who disagree, seriously disagree, can do it and do it without killing each other. That's how it should be in the West. Full disclosure, I have no intention of killing you. Can you say the same about me? Oh, you're
I
hesitating?
don't think she heard the question.
Did you hear the question?
No, I didn't. I think you got cut off. What
Oh.
was that?
Yeah, well, the pregnant pause was a little frightening. I said, full disclosure, I have no intention of killing you. Can you say the same about me?
Yes. No, I consider you a good friend.
Okay.
And, the reason I think the very first time that I talked to you a couple of years ago, you said, you were open to dialogue. And I really appreciated that because I have talked to several other folks and some people just don't want to hear our side. And so, as long as you can give us respect, we'll give you respect. And I appreciate you at least, giving us a chance to tell our side of the story.
Yeah, because I'm so good at this that I could, without you knowing it, expose some of your Sharia-compliant viewpoints that are incompatible with the West and let other people see and educate them while you're just having a fun with my dazzling personality. How about that?
Well, or I could expose those 2 points and tell you how, we're living the Western life and we are Muslim, practicing Muslims. I enjoy every aspect of my life. I feel like, in Washington, D.C., I get to, live best of all worlds, being Muslim and being a great, lawyer and hopefully, succeeding at whatever we choose to do. This is my country. I love it. I want to make the most out of my life.
And we will, I will let you get stuff out like that because this is a psychological operation. So, you have a question, but let me establish for the audience where you're from. Give us your heritage a little bit. My family comes from Sicily and other parts of Italy. They were Christians. My grandfolks came here to the United States, and they wanted nothing more than to be an American, an American. I grew up as an American Italian. I'm an American, a full-blooded American with Italian descent. I love Italian food, Italian culture. I think Italian government, 50 of them in the past 50 years, are insane. They're all insane over there. But they make great cars, Ferraris. But the United States Constitution by far makes the most sense out of any kind of compact I've seen between civilized people to live in a civilized manner. What is your background? Where do you hail from? And I was raised in a Christian home, but I didn't become a knowledgeable Christian by choice until I was in college. I decided to make a decision to be a serious Christian while I was in college. So using what I just said as a template, give us your quick overview of life.
Well, I'm from Pakistan. My family hails from India, Pakistan region. Before the partition, my dad's side was in India. They moved to Pakistan once the independence happened from the British in 1947. And we've been in the Punjab region. My mom and dad both settled in Rawalpindi, which is a very close city to Islamabad, and we decided to immigrate to the United States when I was 12 and decided to live the American dream here. We moved to Connecticut, lived there for a while. I went to middle school and high school there for a bit, and then I moved back to Pakistan for a couple of years and then came back to Oregon. And I was there for the last 13 years and recently moved out here. Our family story is just like any other immigrant family story. We, my parents wanted the best for their kids and education-wise and career-wise and hopefully have a better life than we could have had in Pakistan. So, grateful.
What I'm going to do, because we don't take live calls anymore. We took live calls on our 3-hour radio show. But on a 1-hour television format, it just takes too much time and you go all over the place. But what I'm going to do is put out for our audience, our listeners, our viewers, people on the chat lines, the tweeters, and all the different ways of talking. You're watching, you're listening to our conversation. If you have any questions for Saba, send them to me. And what we'll do, we'll put a couple of questions together. And every so often, we'll give you a call. Let you take a look at the questions so you're prepared. We don't want to trick you or anything. And we'll have our discussions, our dialogues, whatever, our interfaith bonding.
We could have another irregular regular.
Yeah, we can do that.
I have a question.
Damon has a question, our
yes.
producer.
Saba, you said you mentioned that you appreciated that Tom was open to dialogue, and you said that you as well were open to dialogue, and I think that's important. Otherwise, we have a bunch of hard-headed people, and no one's,
Yes.
Now, what is your opinion of CAIR, the Council for American Islamic Relations, when they choose to silence one part of the dialogue, when they want to go silence like the other night, right here?
Right, yeah.
Okay, last Thursday, CAIR came out and wanted to silence Pamela Geller and Tom from speaking. And, CAIR has a long history of just trying to silence the, quote, Islamophobes. Now, like you said, if you believe dialogue is important, I'd like to hear what you think about CAIR trying to cut off half of the dialogue.
Good question.
I think, CAIR's strategies are very different from, I think, the Islamic teachings of, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He didn't actually silence anyone. When he started preaching his message, most of the people were non-Muslims. And if he had tried to, silence everybody or be hard on, he wouldn't have gotten anywhere. So, talking to each other is very, very important. Communication is everything. If you, if I'm going to shut you out, I'll be probably hurt, and I probably wouldn't ever deal with you again. And, I've had my issues with CAIR, but, I can't speak for them, but all I will say is I'm sorry about what happened. And just that day when I saw that message, CAIR and from Tom and from other folks, and it was very fascinating how I feel like there's this, anger match going on between the two sides. And I just, we need to bring some humanity back to it, and I hope that we can talk to each other. I don't represent CAIR. I have not.
Right. So so you don't think that CAIR is correct in trying to silence half of the argument, right? You don't think that is proper, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think it's very anti-Islamic, actually. It's very un-Islamic, because Islam teaches us to be open and, welcoming, and, there's a lot of teachings that I don't think that they're following at CAIR. But hopefully, we'll get through to them as well someday.
Okay, good. And I think I want to bring this to a close now because we only have a few minutes, but we'll definitely get into the doctrine. We have an affinity to doctrine, Christian doctrine, Jewish doctrine, Islamic doctrine. And the doctrine that I understand seems to disagree a bit with your explanation and analysis, but that's what this world is all about. We can discuss these things. Okay. That's it. I'll give you, a parting 30 seconds to say whatever you want, and then we'll see you next time.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to our continued dialogue. It's been very nice talking to you, Tom. I hope this is the beginning of a really great journey for all of us to learn about each other and to help Islam.
Get her off! Get her off this show! Get her off this show! Is she off? Is she? Oh wait, she's still here.
She's still here, Tom. She's still here.
Oh, thank you, Saba. I hope
I'm
you have
defending
a wonderful
Islam.
day, too. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
See ya. We'll be in
Bye.
touch. Bye-bye. Good thing CJ is not here, let me tell you.
Was I nice?
You were very nice. You were very nice. And I don't think CJ...
CJ would not have been as nice
She would
as
not
me.
have been as diplomatic. She would not have been as diplomatic as Imam Abdullah was, right?
Imam Abdullah liked this woman.
Yeah, and Damon was good.
If I did not have my fill of 4 wives, I would consider.
There you go, right? Mike, what did you think about our little...
I thought she was very nice.
It's very nice. Now, here's the question. And Saba, we know you're watching this. It's okay. What do you think we have here with Saba? She is so deeply entrenched in the West, but she comes out of some tough territory. The partition, and I think she said she was on the India side. Is that what she was saying?
Yes, family came from the India side and to the Pakistani side after the separation.
It was breaking up a little bit.
Yeah. Now realize, Pakistan, realize you have the Kashmir, the disputed region.
Disputed area.
Pakistan is basically, let's equate this to Israel.
Yeah, you can with the disputed
You can almost equate this to Israel, and that only opposite, okay? Israel was all. Let's say India was all, okay, as Israel is all.
Right.
And so they carved out Pakistan and said, Muslims, fine. We're going to...
You
have Pakistan and leave us alone.
Right.
Okay?
We want Kashmir.
Right, and down. We want India. You want to be Muslim, you take Pakistan. You would think that would do it. Just like when the Jews gave the Gaza Strip. Oh, no, but that doesn't work. It just brings the launching pads a little bit closer.
Yep. Well, what do you think about Saba? Because in terms of doing an intelligence analysis of who this person is...
Oh, she's highly intelligent. There's no doubt about that.
No, I don't mean that kind of intelligence. A Rorschach test or anything. I mean, is she a stealth jihadi? You know, as those people are saying, the hijabbed woman is infiltrating the Democrat Party or whatever. Is she trying to work her way into the institutions of the West to implement the project of the memorandum from the Muslim Brotherhood? And we know a lot of people are doing that, particularly in the administration and other places. Is she in that category? Or is she in a category of torn between the wonder and the beauty of the West, but the traditions of Islam, trying somehow...
I could say that she sounds like the latter, but why would you want to be a lobbyist?
Yeah, I mean, a lobbyist is...
Okay, if you want to somehow harmonize your Islamic faith and your United States citizenry, if you can find some personal way to make those meld, which they don't, because Sharia law and the U.S. Constitution are antithetical to each other, but if you could find your own personal way to do that, I'll believe that it's a personal thing. But when you say that you're an Islamic lobbyist, what is one to believe?
Yeah.
What is one to believe? At least she's saying it openly.
Yeah. Well, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. Saba, we're giving you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she could say, well, there is unfairness in America for Muslims in over here in X, and I want to lobby like that. That's not really a lobbyist. A lobbyist wouldn't do that. Lobbyist is to change. It's to represent a point of view of another person or organization.
Or foreign entity.
Well, if she's going to be an Islamic lobbyist, she's going to represent some element of Islam from an organization, individual, or an entity or a country to the United States Congress. But we'll get into all of that.
I'm just saying anything. Lobbying the government, okay, to do anything Islamic is not a good thing.
Takes you, well, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. We here at TrentoVision, we analyze
you here at TrentoVision. You can give her the benefit of the doubt.
Some of us here at TrentoVision, the Trento part of TrentoVision, I give people the benefit of the doubt. I let the evidence lead in a particular direction. This will be a very interesting time together because obviously her goal is to present to the Islamic world that she's made nice somehow with Tom Trento, and all this stuff, and
that might be the most dangerous thing she's ever done.
And she's in a position now to guide and to lobby me to be less of an Islamophobe or hater of Muslims. I mean, that's
you don't hate Muslims.
No, well, I mean, but in
you have a problem with the ideology of Islam.
Yeah, I have a problem with a lot of ideologies: Nazism, communism, Islam.
Speaking of Nazism, did you see the flag flying in the West Bank?
What a great way to end the show. Let's end our show today with an old flag flying in Israel right now by the peace partners of Israel. This is in the West Bank. Wonderful flag. We're going to close our show with this fabulous flag out of history. Just makes Jewish people feel so, so good. Waved by Palestinians in the West Bank on top of their home. No one other than Adolf Hitler himself will rest wonderfully knowing the flag of the Nazi regime is flying in the West Bank. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.